Here lies Maurinia Grigsby Bartlett.
It's not
Died
a
wealthy
silent monk,
days after her
but it
husband,
seems just
aged
as
21.
blank.
The servant grumbles. Did you expect a needle? Within the stone garden's walls, peace be thy immortal fortune, relieved of toil, free of indignity, until thou art called to serve.
Human graves. Let's hope none are earmarked for me.
The servant grumbles.
A scholar or mystic, no doubt. Lost in a book while reality rushes past.
Here lies Tree Keller, fell from a great height, a loss keenly felt. Here lies Roland Harkwood, beloved husband of Prudence, attentive father to Niles, buried near his daughters. The dog growls and bares its teeth at you in a wide, unsettling grin. You swear you see a worm emerge from its grey-pink gums.
Come closer. I dare you.
He sniffs.
I am death. There's no defying me.
The dog's growls intensify and transform into a rhythmic rasp that mimics laughter. You swear you see the ground behind him momentarily churn and tremble.
Do not mock me. You know what lies beneath. But I will not allow you another step closer, human. Can has already laid claim to it. Ha! She calls herself master. I call her minion. Whatever name you choose, it is her hand that will wield it, not yours.
The dog raises its head to the stormy sky and howls. The earth beneath you vibrates, a dirge plucked on the strings of a rotting lute.
Necrotic troll, you are summoned. Crawl through the gate. The earth opens for thee.
Into the dark with you. I'm ready. Let's see what spirits haunt this garden.
The dog spirit rolls his head around, gawking at the ground and sky as if he's never seen them before. Then,
I am death. Yes, the masses tremble at the Necrohound's might. We will retrieve anathema. Our enemies will bow before the demon blade.
he moves to lick his haunches and seems taken aback by his own translucence.
Once a demon, now a weapon. We heard its call and slayed our allies in its name. It is near. With it, we will slay living and undead alike.
The canine spirit lifts his head to howl, but can barely manage a whimper. He tucks his tail between his legs, shocked at his own impotence.
I will not.
Here lies Glenn Raymond, proud father, died in penury.
It won't respond to my touch.
It's hard not to feel some pride in reptilian engineering. I watched an elf spend hours trying to force his way into a lizard's chest. Eventually, he threw it into the flames. But still it sits there, indestructible. He did not leave empty-handed, unfortunately. I pity the poor salamander that he dragged back to his ghastly home.
The spirit does not talk to you, though the...
A grand altar indeed. Lizard death rites are nothing if not dramatic. The spirit gives you a tortured glance, then turns away to stare at nothing in particular. The creature barely noticed.
The spirit does not respond to your presence. You recognize the dog from the town square in Driftwood. The wounds from his spiked collar are healing well.
Oh, hi! How are you? I'm good. Hey, do you smell that? It smells like the fish place, doesn't it? Like fish, only, worse. Okay, bye!
Careful now. That's a trap.
If Graves you dig, I'll warn you now. Beware the creak and then the click. Then comes the bang, then comes the bang. Close your eyes and listen.
The spirit's memories play out before you in darkest black. The sound alone relates the tale. A self-styled archaeologist, some would call you a grave robber, you found the grave of Baron Wilmart Hogg IV. Your footsteps crunch light upon the gravel as you approach the tomb. You know that Hogg was avaricious, paranoid, and cruel, and you yourself value the first of these two traits most highly. You ease your way up to the grave and run your hand around the lid, searching for a trap. You find nothing. The wind whispers in the trees, and the grass rustles quietly. You slide the lid open with a creak. Click. Uh-oh, you think. Bang! The silence of the night is rent with a sound of screaming.
Commiserations, he says. I knew the risks. If Graves you'd open, beware the creak, and then the click. Then comes the bang, then comes the bang! I have only one regret. I didn't get the loot, I didn't get the loot! First came the creak, and then the click, then came the bang, then came the bang! Creak, click, bang!
Look out. I see a trap nearby.
An ancient grave marker. The name upon it has faded away.
What's this? I found something.
You were kind and honest and devoted to your dog, but you came a-knocking here in search of work, and the dog took a fancy to the man of the house. Your own dog turned on you and tore you down.
A sinner I, and who is not? The sinner lies that they sin not. A sinner lies. And yet the boneyard's full of sinners who got their prayers, while I did not.
The lizard hums tunelessly, not a melody exactly, but more of a meandering moan.
10 spans under, humans slept. 10 spans up, the dwarves were kept. Lizards burned in lasting flame. Elven trees towards skies did aim.
She looks to your left with one eye and to your right with the other.
It helps me remember where the dead go. Sometimes they don't stay where I put them. That's okay.
She smiles at you with the innocence of a newborn. The hum still throbs in her throat.
Keeping watch, tending the graves.
She returns to her humming. She flinches as you move closer.
No touching.
Her humming fades. The eerie silence lasts for several seconds.
Riker might get mad. He doesn't like it when someone touches his things.
She shivers and whispers.
Powerful sorcerer. Lives here, right in the garden. He can take the you from you. No brain, just body.
She points at her head.
The servants, they got nothing up there. Riker has it all now. They need to be freed. Only way. Kill Riker. The servants, so lost, chained by Sorcerer Riker, but they can still go home to the hall. Set them free.
The ensuing silence lasts for several seconds, until she picks up the melody once again and turns away. Here lies Phylan Surrey, whose family's generous patronage helped build these burial grounds, and who refused to be buried in the Surrey crypt. The spirit does not respond to your presence. The spirit sings a long-forgotten tune in a long-forgotten language, one, it seems, with the ever-revolving wheels of space and time.
pure grace in an undeserving world.
The spirit ignores your presence, busy as it is resisting the pull of another, the ancestor tree, trying to take its source. All you feel is the spirit's resistance, and the spirit ignores your presence. The spirit ignores your presence. The spirit ignores your presence. The roots of a great ancestor tree reach from deep underground to the surface above and beyond. But this tree feels tainted. You are a scion of the elves. The mother tree demands your blood. You do not have a choice. She has a plan, and you must serve her with your death. You heed your mother's wishes and take root. But then you hear a voice, a friendly whisper from beyond. The voice knows you. He understands you. He loves you. He offers you your freedom and asks but one small service in return. Grateful, you accept. In an instant, you are an elf once more, walking in the world. But your new friend begins to make demands. Small services, then larger and more often. They cause you pain. At last, he bids you guard your tree. He expects you shall have guests. You shall kill the Godwoken when they come. Then you shall be free. The thought occurs. The scion replaced one bad deal with another.
Desperation leads to stupidity, among the stupid anyway.
To trade one's soul for immortality and then lose out on your prize? That is unfortunate, no matter the circumstance.
Elven games. No one cares.
The spirit ignores your presence.
What's this?
You! Help! I'm down here! A mind of this magnitude shouldn't be cursed to live like this. Can you dig me up? Well, I used to be... Wait, who did I used to be? I can say with confidence who I am now, at least. A thinker. The likes of which you've never known and never will. Don't worry, there's nothing funny about me.
The skeleton tries to brush the dirt from his clattering bones, then frowns. The moistest bits are still stuck in his cracks and crevices.
Thanks. You're probably looking for a reward, but I haven't got much. Except, you know, the wisdom of the ages.
He pokes a finger against his ossified head.
I'm a bit of a philosopher, you see. Not much else to be, what with all that thinking time. Are you questioning my intellect? You think you say more sooth than me, a verified soothsayer?
The skeleton pauses and sighs, then straightens his spine with a clatter.
A soul bond will settle it. A battle of wits. Then the cosmos itself will decide who can better face the truth of our own essence, me or you. A weak soul may not survive the bond, but I'm sure you'll be just fine. Oh, it's easy. We link up souls and share our innermost beliefs. Think of it like an innocent little duel. The winner remains comfortable with their personal truths. The loser, well... I don't blame you. To brush shoulders with someone of my stature must be overwhelming.
He arrests Timus Anchoret. Ever may he look out upon the woods he loved so dearly. The masked servant does not speak. It only... The spirit does not respond to your presence.
I've spotted something.
You there! Help me, please! Some thoughtless fool buried me in this grave to be left as fodder for the worms. I can't be at peace in a place like this. I have to be put to rest according to lizard tradition. The eternal fire burns in the lizard quarter of the cemetery. I beg you, cast my remains into the fire. Set my spirit free. I will never know peace otherwise. I should have known your kind would seek recompense. Very well. Do as I ask, and you will be rewarded.
These must be the remains of that lizard spirit, just as he said. spotted something.
The plinth of the statue bears a series of deep, circular scratches. The sculpture looks The statue rotates. You cringe at the sound of...
I've spotted something.
The headless statue looms over you. Its plinth bears...
We were picked off by spies. There was no glory and no point to it either.
We are an inspiration to our...
Inspiration. We're an example.
In death, the dwarves give eagles life. An elegant
We
passing
died
for an inelegant
glorious
people.
deaths.
We were picked off by spies. There was no
The
glory.
eagle glowers at you with one baleful eye, keeping the other eye firmly trained on the stringy morsels of rotting flesh dangling from its beak.
You dare touch Master's gifts. No invitation. Leave now. Leave me and Master alone.
The eagle glowers at you balefully, without...
Pretty eyes. Eyes that see far.
The eagle's own eyes glitter with avarice.
Master tied them on. Pretty ribbons. Match my pretty claws. Match your pretty eyes.
Peck, peck, peck. The eagle pecks free some choice lump of gristle from deep within the corpse. He swallows it whole, dark blood dripping from his beak, and matting the fluffy feathers at his throat.
Master died, but Master told me what to do. All my life told me you are what you eat. So I do. I will become the Master. Unless you are not the new Master, are you? Think me an owl? A wren? I am a...
He ostentatiously... The eagle glowers at you with one...
You dare touch Master...
There was no glory and no point to it either.
We died glorious deaths.
We were picked off by spies. There was no glory and no point to it either.
We are an inspiration to our people.
That
In death,
inspiration,
the
we're an
dwarves
example.
give eagles life. An elegant passing for an inelegant.
You watch yourself. There's a voice whispering promises to the dead around here. Word is that they'll be walking about with flesh on their bones again if they send you to the Hall of Echoes. You're God-woken, ain't you? You've a certain something about your aura. Don't ask me why. But someone out there's got it in for you and everyone like you.
To our people.
The spirit is dressed in tattered ceremonial garb. Eagle feathers tangle in his beard, and bird droppings decorate his robes. He surveys the circling flock with evident satisfaction.
My faithful eagles work still. They know their duty. They need me not. See my feather fall here, prime among my flock. He won't leave my body till naught remains but bleached bone. No ordinary hunger, but a trained hunger. Watch. See him separate spleen from marrow, just so. Hurts? My dear boy, no. All I feel is pride. My featherfall knows just how to slice and just what to chew. He eats to free me, to free this spirit from its earthly ties. With each peck, I am closer to the Hall of Echoes.
Two dwarven spirits at loggerheads. In a flash, you are both of them, brother and sister. Your feminine side is a rebel, rising up against the tyrannical queen. Your masculine side is a royalist, loyal to the monarch he loves. As the brother, you rescue your sister from the pikes of the royal guard. Together, you flee across the sea to the melting pot of Driftwood and Reaper's Coast. But in Driftwood, you visit the lizard. You are the sister, and you know that something is wrong. You climb the stairs to rescue your brother, and find him fighting for his life against the dwarves who would rob him. Both of you die, but your killers do right by their fellow dwarves, and bring you here to lay you to rest. As spirits, you fight for eternity, one convinced that the Queen is a tyrant, the other that your treason was wrong. The sister smiles. She feels vindicated. Her brother still does not agree. The rebellion was a disaster. The rebellion was a mistake that cost them their lives.
Watching the birds pick your body clean is almost soothing. At least you know you're doing some good for a creature. And it means that elf ain't getting his claws on my corpse. Not mine specifically, but he creeps from grave to sepulchre, taking what he wants. Whatever he wants.
A grim expression passes across her face as she looks out over the graveyard.
The dead don't rest easy in this garden. Not by half. He lives in the big house by the gate. I ain't about to wander up and ask for a name, mind you. The less I see of him, the happier I'll rest.
That inspiration. We're an example!
The eagle glowers at you balefully, with eyes like shiny little buttons. One manicured and beribboned claw shoots forth to claim the stringy...
Pretty eyes. Eyes that see far.
The eagle's own eyes glitter with avarice.
Master tied them on. Pretty ribbons. Match my pretty claws. Match your pretty eyes.
Peck, peck, peck. The eagle pecks free some choice lump of gristle from deep within the corpse.
Master died, but Master told me what to do. All my life told me you are what you eat. So I do. I will become the Master, unless you are not the new... And if you want to be my Master, you must first become the Master. You are what you eat.
You chew it for what seems like forever, yet the texture does not change in your mouth. Tough yet moist, leathery yet slippery. It's disgusting. Sometimes you really wonder about how you make choices in life. Sometimes, like now. The eagle hops from claw to claw, peering up at you with a berserk and bird-like excitement.
See? Feel it? The power!
A hacking caw breaks free from his ebony beak. Those little button eyes seem to twinkle in the gloom.
Yes, kidney. Good for courage, good for warrior. You will fight well, now Master's blood runs within you. Featherfall is with you. Together, we go together from here.
Featherfall hops eagerly onto your shoulder and digs his claws in deep. He pecks your cheek in what could charitably be called an affectionate manner. Blood drips from the wound. At least he didn't go for your eyes.
We are an inspiration to our people.
That inspiration. We're an example!
We died glorious deaths.
We were picked off by spies. There was no glory and no point to it either.
We are an inspiration to our people.
Biting deep into the rotting flesh, your senses are assailed with a rank odor of meat long past its prime. Your memory wavers and becomes not your own, but the memory of one who led the most solitary of lives. You see myriad wings flapping, your hand scattering birdseed. You hear the screeching of eagles, the tearing of flesh. All of your life is centered on this place, this pedestal of death. All of your life is dedicated to feeding your eagles the meat of your dearly departed people.
Picked off by spies. There was no glory and no point to it either.
We are an inspiration to our people.
That inspiration. We're an example!
The headless statue looms over you. It... Here lies Zebedee Harron, would sell his granny, but at the fairest of prices. Heroes Rest, memorial to the saviors of Driftwood, and the first of this region who joined Lucian the Divine. They lie here as comrades forever, eschewing the burial customs of their own people so that they can stand guard even in death.
To see an elf.
You have done me a great service, friend.
Oh!
Fasten tight.
Above! Look at those bones! What's this? I found something. Still sounds stuck. Must be more to it. I've spotted something. success! It's shut tight.
It's locked fast. Maybe it's connected to some other mechanism. It's locked fast. Maybe it's connected to some other mechanism. No, the door!
Maybe this one. What did that do? Gone better. I'll try a different order. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. Not the outcome I'd hoped for. Maybe this one. What did that do? You hear that? It did something.
Look at all this treasure. This family must have been rich.
Unlike so many other spirits, this one is hardly silent. She clicks and squawks the moment you approach her, like a cornered crow facing down a hungry owl.
Are you the new servant, then? A pity. Seems the standard is plummeting quickly. You brought my tea, have you?
The spirit takes the invisible cup from you and takes a sip of non-existent liquid.
I've tasted better brews, but from the look of you, the refreshments won't be improving.
She waits a moment.
You expecting a tip? Well, here's one. Soap. Use it. That old thing, it was passed to me by my father, Johannius. And my father's father, Johannius. And my father's 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 father, Johannius. Don't know what happened to the one in the middle. Don't rightfully know what it's supposed to do. Johannius, the umpteens, brought it back from Blood Moon Island. I thought it might be good for stirring stew, but the cook gave it back. Said it made her feel funny. Whatever that... Mama goodness,
The spirit stands there smiling, utterly oblivious to her own outburst, leaving you to ponder the strange words she shouted. Mamtenem rnekt udil.
What just happened? You mean my display of proper posture, Renetti? Hurry back.
Unlike so many other spirits,
Are you the new servant, then? A pity. Seems...
the spirit takes the...
I've...
She waits.
You expecting a tip? Well, that old thing don't rightfully know what is... Mama,
The spirit stands there smiling, as if she hadn't...
What just happened? You mean hurry back?
You feel the unusual object's vast energy before your hand even touches its smooth surface. Upon contact, the semi-transparent artifact shivers and speaks. You know this language. It is an archaic tongue, spoken only by demons for untold eons.
When as one, I am slayer of sin and the bane of the living. Restore my twin, make me whole. In archive of old the blade resides, an isle of blood where demons abide.
The object speaks once more, and you consider your fortune in understanding its demonic monologue.
I'm demon true, taken to Isle of Vaults, exorcised from host most dear. The priest, Surrey by name, confined my soul to blade of glass and bone, then split in twain when madness boiled his blood. Anathema, I'm called, but only halves before you. In archives rest the blade. The path is marked. Now on to Isle embark.
The heirloom is silent once more. The oblong object is crystal clear and unmarked by marks or chips. It rests snugly in your palm, as if meant to be gripped with a resolute hand. The object repeats its cryptic remarks.
You're back! Good. I'm ready for my tweezing.
What the hell? We're trapped.
your maker.
Treat the Reaper for me. Start with you.
This thing speaks to me. But what is it trying to say?
Sounds like any other plea for mercy to me. Utter nonsense.
My tongue! It's speaking the language of the Eternals. I mean, it is gibberish, but such beautifully phrased gibberish.
It has a nice rhythm to it, doesn't it? Kind of like a song. Beautiful language.
Ah, you again. Any luck in old Lady Surrey's tomb?
He places his hand on the artifact, and it drones in its strange language. Adan, Shvalon Dumora Vavor Rivelis, Awanu Ari, Dem Chushan. The object continues. Sarden Menia Veet Feln, Dom Drisval Veet Evdekais.
It's true then. Anathema. Within reach. Tell me, is this all there was? There weren't any other curios in there? Amazing, but not unexpected.
He breathes a long, lugubrious sigh.
It's time I leveled with you. This is the hand grip of the fabled anathema. A sword capable of annihilating anyone. Even a divine. Imagine it. Holding in your hand a force that could wipe away sun and shadow. A sword of life and death, miracle and sin. A sword of atonement. I can restore anathema to working condition, but this is only half of it. We still need the blade. How fortunate that the hilt has already told us where to find it. Blood Moon Island. Isle of Vaults, yada yada yada, Priest Surrey, and so on and so forth. Wow. And it even revealed an exact location. I'll mark it on your map. An exorcised demon living in a sword of glass. The hilt was brought here by one of the many Surreys. Not surprised. None of them sound too bright. I can't imagine having even half a demonic sword around was very healthy for that feeble-minded family. They probably winced whenever a black cat came around. Would you look at that? Looking out for number one. I like that in a man. Very well. Here's a little something special. Now, Blood Moon Island awaits, my friend. It's a bit of a jaunt, but this gives me time to prepare my workspace. We'll catch up on the Lady Vengeance, yes?
Tarquin doesn't wait for an answer. His attentions are already turned elsewhere.
Second time's a charm? Or have I asked too much of you?
You recognize the dog from...
Oh, hi!
This grave marker is old. Whatever name was once carved upon it is no longer legible.
chill here, like the air itself's been petrified.
The figure is locked in pose. Petrified from head to toe. Two fingers of dust have settled on this The petrified woman cannot speak, but her eyes glow with the fury of the sun. At first, you might think the figure is a simple stone statue.
Well, isn't this rich? Cursed by a coffin and rescued by a random rube. The indignity.
She huffs in annoyance and rolls her eyes.
Oh, all this trouble, and for nothing. Never figured I'd need frost armour. A mutt? Oh, please. He's no mutt any more than I'm a maiden. Oh, but do forgive me. I haven't expressed proper gratitude.
She bows in insincere reverence. Her arm rests on her back, hand mere inches from her staff. She goes silent, momentarily willing to let you go free, then rises from her bow and grips you by the shoulder.
Oh, honey, anathema's out there, and I'm not keen on competition if you get my drift.
A jolt of cursed fire flares from her staff.
Especially me.
The spirit's lip curls upwards. She opens her mouth as if to speak, but her words fade in the tomb's chill. The longer you gaze, the more your inner source churns. You are drawn into her, her mind, her body, her past. They are no longer hers, but yours. You sit at a fire. At your left lies a black dog, basking in the warmth. Others huddle behind you. A young elf, a grizzled dwarf, and a skeleton, an undead. You hold a parchment up to the light and point at it. It is there that anathema can be found. The sky is dark, and you look to and you gasp as you are...
Nothing but bone dust. Even the petrified aren't immune to the ravages of time, it seems.
I will not be denied!
The spirit keeps glancing. How can I help? If I knew the chronicler put...
Come on, mistress. Hear me. Heed me. You've always had a glint in your eye for old Zimski. Don't abandon me now.
Zimski mutters to himself as he traces sigils in the dirt. He spies you, and a shrewd look brightens his eyes. He stretches out a hand, showing you a solitary coin on his palm.
Heads or tails? A canny one, you are. That's what Lady Luck herself always whispered to me in the night. Much good it did me. All my life I served her, and see how it ends? In the dirt. Just a...
Turning from you, he crouches back to the dirt. He resumes tracing esoteric sigils, his fingertips swirling through the graveyard clay.
Her signs to call her. Oh, Lady Luck always came when I called. For 30 years we roamed Rivellon together. She was my faithful mistress. From card game to wager to grift. She was the life of me. Yet she wants no dead man. Now I cannot influence even a coin toss. But you breathe. I'll wager you've more use for my gifts than I do. Here, tell me what you truly value. If my lady sees fit, I'll give you what I truly value in return. Good enough.
He smiles a foxy smile as he stabs claw-like fingers at your chest. He begins to trace sigils on your flesh. Though you cannot feel his fingers upon your skin, something inside you shifts. You feel a coldness, and a sick longing seeps into your heart. He croons incantations as he works, and his voice is like the throwing of 1,000 dice inside your brain. Your body is suddenly filled with lust for coin and craving for more.
Ah, now you feel her touch. Now Lady Luck sings in your blood as she once did in mine. And now I feel nothing.
The spirit gives you a tortured glance, then turns away to stare at nothing in particular. The creature barely notices your...
What is it he holds? A tome of prayer? Or a tome of judgment?
Who has not sinned? Not you, you say. A sinner lies. Yet chances are when your turn comes, you'll get your prayers, while I did not.
She hums quietly. Here lies Phylan Surrey, whose family's generous patronage helped build these burial grounds, and who refused to be buried in the Surrey crypt.
Skies today.
As you reach to push open the heavy door, the coils and whirls of engraved wood dance into a new pattern. The semblance of a face arises, a face that seems to look right through you.
Why are you here? Tell me, and mind that you tell me true.
You remember Roost telling campfire tales of a lone wolf who lived in a graveyard, in a mansion protected by talking doors. Riker his name was, if you recall correctly. And from the tales Roost told, he sounded like a lunatic. Silence greets your answer. In the distance, you hear the screech of an eagle. Worryingly closer, you hear some kind of a moan. Time passes. At last, the lips on the door creak open and the door speaks.
Enter.
The face melts back into the wood of the door, and the whirls swirl back into a floral pattern. A loud metallic click can be heard from deep within.
Must be Riker's place. Only a madman would build a mansion on the edge of a graveyard.
A spirit sits behind the grand piano, her hands moving to and fro along the ivory keys.
O'er black and white, my fingers dart, as lost between worlds as I am. O'er globes they glide, o'er flats and sharps. Whither go they, Lord of Life? Direct them.
The music swells as the spirit's dalliances along the piano keys are joined by a ghostly violin. A distant orchestra fills the room with melody. The dusty staircase leads to another hatch, which is blocked tight. As you push, no matter how much you strain, the dusty staircase leads to no matter how much. The masked servant does not. The spirit does not talk to you.
Death prowls above. Ascend only.
The servant emits a menacing growl. The servant emits a menacing growl. The creature warns you away with a throat-melting groan. The servant's guttural roar invades your ears and shakes your The spirit does not talk to you, though... The spirit gives you a tortured glance, then... You look up to the portrait.
Contentious cur! Thou wouldst dare prance and gallivant about without a summons? Get thee gone, for at the count of 12 less 2, the sentries advance.
You come up empty. Perhaps there is nothing to find.
This is what Rivellon has become. It has... a sanctuary for greedy poltroons seeking riches from noble patrons of the visual arts.
The painted man harumphs.
If you think the Master loves you more than he loves me, then, Dot, you're a bigger idiot than you look.
Master's the master. Master knows the dog is better than the cat. Master says good dog. Does Master say good cat? No. No, Master does not. See?
The cat gives the dog a long, languid look of carefully disguised contempt. Then she sighs and turns to you.
Settle an argument for us. Dog's body here thinks that because the Master is grateful for his, meaning the dog's, mindless devotion, he loves his dog more than he loves his cat. I, on the other hand, know full well that it's the Master's admiration for my general bearing, demeanour and intrinsic greatness what is most indicative of a state of actual love. He near worships me, he does.
Master loves his dog. Master thinks his cat is cool, not the same thing.
You're a moron.
No, I'm not. I'm black-brown.
See what I'm dealing with? Come on, settle the argument. Tell him he's wrong. There you go, Dot. Listen to the nice fellow.
I don't get it. But I thought he really loved me. My old master, he really loved me. I probably shouldn't have left him the way I did. He'd have died for me, he would. Did die for me, as it happened.
Come on, Dot. We'll go kill rats or something. Take your mind off it. Here you are. As a token of my gratitude, there's a shiny what's-it under the bath upstairs might be of interest to you. People seem to like that sort of thing. And I'm done playing with it. Hello. You're looking well.
The boots are resplendent with polished ivory, heavy but well made, fit for a noble. The air around you glows with sudden heat. Specks of ash fall from the sky, summoning a fractured memory. Dig, work, deeper. By the Empress's order, you have to go deeper. As the memory fades, ghostly flames flicker on the surface of the polished sabatons.
I see you. You have the strength I've been looking for. Find where the archaeologist cut into the earth. I will draw strength from there to speak again.
The voice vanishes, but the bone-deep longing remains. You must dig in the east. You must. A terrible chill pervades the air as the ashen vision fades. Someone new is watching you. The spirit keeps glancing back. A difficult task since his shoulders are tense as iron.
How can I help? If I knew the way, I'd shout until every god heard me.
Quit idling! We have to dig!
The chronicler puts his head in his hands, collapsing in silent defeat. The spirit of a dwarf frowns at you, suspicion drawing the lines of his face deep.
I don't hear any pickaxes! No shovels! Where are my lazy diggers? We can't be wasting time! The Empress will have me head! Haven't you seen the excavation site? There's real treasure there. Bones of the beast. The site's close. It has to be. There's more stones to break, more earth to turn. We need to get there.
Nice.
This door is locked tight, but there's a sliding peering in you can barely see as your vision is limited by a cobweb. Before you stands the ghost of an older woman. Clad in flowing magister's robes, she peers around the room as if looking for something lost. On seeing you,
Magister Pavlonia. Charmed to meet you, I'm sure.
as she reaches for you, her hand passes right through your arm. She shrieks, horror animating her face.
Oh, my hand! My fingers! All right, I am dead. Dead in a spider's lair. I keep forgetting things somehow. It's hard to hold all the threads together when you've fallen apart yourself. Wait, the spider! It was the spider! She chewed me. Bits of me. Slowly. I keep looking, but I can't find myself. Yes. I came from the Black Pits to negotiate with Riker here in his house. We needed to ensure that scoundrel wouldn't interfere with our plans there. He must have mixed something into the delightful rose tea he served me. And then... Next I knew, I was rolled up in webbing as his spider sucked the marrow right from my bones and nibbled my limbs off. I hope you didn't drink any tea downstairs. He's a master sorcerer. Everyone knows that. But he's too powerful to take to the joy. And besides, he had some business that coincided with Dallas's interests. Of course, if he were to act up, we could always work on his little vulnerability to fortify. So Dallas ordered him left alone, providing he didn't interfere with Magister business in the Black Pits.
She throws you a haughty glance. In the sharp lines of her face, you see steely determination overtaking the spirit's distracted manner.
None of your... Never mind.
The spider spindles right up to you, her long, long legs tickling the sandy floor. A malevolent intelligence gleams forth from 8 beady eyes. She opens her mouth, hissing at you.
Don't you know, my little pepper pot, that it's ever such bad manners to enter a queen's boudoir without permission? But what's this? Something familiar beats within your heart? A venom promise, a gift from one of my kind.
She shuffles her enormous body closer, looming over you until you are enveloped under her shadow. Venom sizzles to the sand from her fangs as you are pinned in place under all 8 of her eyeballs.
You come here for me? You desire another spider's kiss? How rude you are, Sugar Plum. But I'm not interested in you like that. I've already got plenty of babies. So you are still prey, but of a different kind. I hunger, and I hear my princelings blubbering in their loving cocoons. Time for us to feast.
Her fangs drool venom that sizzles on the sand.
You're not trying to escape, are you?
The hatch is blocked tight by the high drifts of sand carpeting the floor. You remember drinking ruby wine with Magister Boris in the armory after hours. You remember his deep hazel eyes, how he trembled as he kissed you. You remember all of it, the best night of your life. Pavlonia gazes searchingly around the floor near her. The servant emits a menacing growl. The servant emits a menacing growl. The creature warns you away with a throat. The man in the painting silences you with a withering glance.
The countdown continues, Lubblewort. In 5 seconds.
You come up.
This is what Riverlot...
The painted man harumphs. The spirit cannot speak. Or
My fingers are yours. Direct them.
the echoes of a distant... The creature barely notices your presence.
Back again, eh? It's free to look, fair travels,
Not in any
friend.
mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget.
Buying or selling? Capital. Good luck to you.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Well, don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as you're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Back for a return visit? Have at it. Got yourself situated?
Your fish stinks of the void. What kind of rat would sell such filth?
The kind that don't fancy starving along with the rest of this town. It's all well and good for you with your rations.
Yep.
Keep talking, Wolf, and you'll end up in...
Glad to see you well. Anything more? Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Well, don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Well, don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Bishop Alexander was slain by Seekers! Culprits still at large!
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Until later, then. Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your tunnel, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree?
There's a lot of call for the junk you
I'm
sell,
all right,
then.
as long as I don't think about it too much.
Why, I offer nothing less than the wisdom
You're
of
safe among
ancients.
friends. Never forget it.
Vapid fiction, along with a large helping of ham.
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Well, don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your tunnel, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
There's a lot of call for the junk you sell, then.
Keeping it together, Bree?
Why, I
I'm
offer
all right,
nothing less
as
than
long
the
as I don't
wisdom
think
of the
about it too
ancients.
much.
You're safe among
Vapid
friends.
fiction,
Never
along with a
forget
large
it.
helping of ham.
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk
Glad to see you well. Anything more?
Hear ye! Bishop Alexander was slain by Seekers! Culprits in a large!
Until later, then.
Keeping it together, Bree?
Do you have it? Do you have the book I seek? Found the little corpse-related book I seek yet? Not like it's some common parlour table book. I'm looking for something more particular. A tome to teach me how to make corpses explode.
She scuffs one boot.
For my collection?
She opens and closes her jaw several times before deciding to speak. She dusts off her tunic as she confides in you, leaving a musty scent lingering in the air, like an old attic piled high with mildewed paper.
I spent years alone in a study researching the afterlife. I don't want this shadow existence. What is this world but a training ground for the next? What is this decaying body but the tool to get me there? I have almost everything I need to go. I just need that book.
She stares at you blank.
You do not know the question. I am already dead. My body is an anomaly. Have a look. Mind you don't tear any pages now. You know what I'm looking for. Found the little corpse-related book. Have a look. Mind you don't tear any pages now. You know what I'm looking for. Do you have it? Do you have the book I seek? Do you have it? Do you have the book I seek? Do you have it? Do you have the book I seek?
Buying or selling? Capital. Good luck to you.
Have you anything that will protect against all lightning?
Keeping it together, Bree.
To march against the ancient empire!
Too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Back for a return visit? Have at it. Got yourself situated.
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
Your fish stinks of the
You're
void.
safe
What
among
kind
friends.
of rat would sell
Never
such
forget
filth?
it.
kind that don't fancy starving, along with the rest of this town. It's all well and good for you with your rations. We've got to take what we can get.
Keep talking, Dwarf, and you
Keeping
let
it
that
together,
bit of
Bree.
sawdust from a cell floor.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Yep.
Glad to see you well. Anything more? Until later, then. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit you, ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?